And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, for 4 years, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, how are you doing post-Halloween?
I'm grateful, man. I'm doing so well. It was a joyous Halloween. It was a warm Halloween.
Yes, it was.
Here in the valley, but there were so many fantastic costumes. I saw probably a record number of ghost faces.
There
Brad
were a lot.
Winchester. I don't know if you saw the trailer for Scream
I sure
7.
did.
Easy for
Sure
me to
did.
say.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that trailer?
Interesting wrinkle, I guess. But I one of the things
You're taking the positive approach.
Every time I hear the ghost face, it's like, hello again. It's like, again, you all died. Just say hello. It's not again. I know it's a head game thing, but I feel like at this
It's
point,
totally a mind game.
Sid's sitting there going like, okay, just hang up.
Yeah. I was intrigued enough to click on the trailer, and then about 30 seconds in, I realized, I have no business watching the rest of it. Mind you, I did watch the rest of it.
Of course.
But I guess there's still a market for not only Ghostface costumes. Shout out to all the adorable kids who rock the Ghostface look this Halloween. But apparently people are still seeing the Scream series. I didn't realize it was still relevant. I will not be seeing Scream 7, Brad, but I had
Did you watch 5 or 6?
You know what? I got through about 15 minutes of Scream 6. That has isn't Jenna Ortega in that?
She's in both.
She's in both. Okay. I had a Paramount.
Yeah, if you watch
Plus,
6 without watching 5,
I had a Paramount Plus trial mainly for the purposes of watching this one, because doesn't Ghostface like go into a bodega and there's like some sort of shootout?
Yeah.
And so I got through about 15 minutes and I said, this is trash. I have no interest in watching the rest of this. Does that count?
I suppose. If you would have watched through, you would have probably understood what was happening there. I think. I can't remember if that's the one or if it's the other one, but I think it's because it takes place in New York, correct? Or out east somewhere.
My recollection
did it
is
start
that
in the city? They're going to a frat party.
It does.
Okay,
which is part of why I was intrigued. If there's anything New York or Arizona based, I am willing to give it a shot. Generally speaking,
if you didn't see the one before that, then you can't be invested in those characters, and it makes a lot more sense. So the one before that I thought was pretty good. It was it tied the gap in time together pretty well. And I don't know. I like that one, the first one, because I was really surprised by the beginning, knowing what happens or knowing who was in 6. I was actually shocked about what was going on. They bring back some characters, kill off a very, very big character in that film. I liked the twist to it. I don't want to spoil anything in case you decide to give it a go, but 7, I'll probably watch it because when I was here and I was sick, I slammed through all the Screams I missed. Mm-hmm. I just went on a binge and I watched them because I hadn't watched them either. I was like, I'm not interested in this. I didn't even watch Scream 4. And it was like, it's been 10 years or 15 years. And now it's been like 10 years since that came out. And then they had the other ones come out after. Anyway.
See, my mind goes to, and by the way, you being the most positive host on this podcast, I hope this isn't here to stay. I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know if this is a year 5 transition for Gimmick Infringement, but I want it to be known. I am
saw
not
Fast and the Furious 10.
I did. I paid to see that.
10X.
And I will pay to see 11.
That's what they should put over the 11 and stop it.
Okay, let me
I'm fine with Scream 7.
Let me say this is our November 2025 debut here. Last thought about Halloween. I wonder, and I didn't poll these kids. Maybe I should have, and that could have been the bargaining chip. If you want candy, you have to take my informal poll. I wonder if they've actually seen Scream. Has Ghostface become such an iconic character that you don't even need to have seen it? You just know about the meme. Maybe kids know about the what's up. And that's all. I should have asked these kids. I'm gonna have to do that next year, Halloween 2026. Have you ever watched Ghostface?
Scary?
Are you a real fan? Have you listened to a Nirvana song, or do you just get the T-shirt from Target? That was me back in the day.
You got to ask them at the door. Just be like, "Do you like what's?" Just look at them and just go, "What's your favorite scary story?"
Right?
Because they probably haven't seen it. They're
I
probably
saw
going to be like, it's scariest stories told in the dark, right? Because they're 8 wearing a ghost face
exactly.
mask.
I saw probably about 10 ghost face costumes of kids, of adolescents from various ages. What I will say, Brad, I sent you the picture of this. Shout out to our two of our French teachers at Sunny Slope High School. They dressed up on campus, and this was the most clever costume I saw all Halloween. They dressed as the French thieves. So
Mm. Yeah, I saw that.
they had their bright colored neon
That popped
vests
me.
on.
Yeah,
They had the picture they were holding
yeah.
together. And I'm glad we caught
That
those
was.
two low lives. Glad we did.
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I
I
saw
thought it was
some
hilarious.
really.
So creative. They had the little beanie, the black beanies as well. It was great. Great
So
Halloween.
there was a kid that went in full character, and I don't know what his association with is, but he went dressed as Donald Trump to school, and was full method acting just all day out there. I'm the greatest. This is the best costume you'll ever see. And then at lunch they had a costume closet, costume contest. Easy for me to say, as he would say. And he lost to the Lorax, which was also an incredible costume. But the rest of the day, he's walking around. It was rigged. The election was rigged. I won this. I had the best costume. It was so good. I couldn't stop. Every time I saw him, he's saying something to somebody about how great he was, or about how anything good that happened today was because of him, and that the contest was rigged. And it was just so great. To like nail those little idiosyncrasies. I was like, that kid needs to come out for the theater program and just act. But there was a lot of really creative costumes I saw. There was a lot of 6-7 stuff done, but primarily by the staff, which I didn't appreciate. But mostly because I already saw it at that Halloween party last week before Halloween. Shout out to Anna Dozier, who had the ice pack on her head with the number 7 on her shirt. She went in sick 7, and the kids loved it there. I thought it was great. All here for a pun. I saw some other ones that were pretty good too, and it was fun, but it was also hot. I was wearing a dress shirt. I decided not to do the tie because I was afraid I would have sweat in my collar by the time I was done. So I wore a dress shirt and a lab coat. But that lab coat, luckily, because it was like a costume lab, I'm not going to buy a real lab coat. It was like $6 and really thin. So it was relatively comfortable, but going in with a giant white overcoat with long sleeves and then walk outside and it's like 93, 92 and sunny. But at night it was perfect weather. Now, before we transition into getting into some really great wrestling content and talking about the Bachelor, and I have a promo, and it turns out so do you, and getting into the preview to the finale of Golden Batch. So much stuff happened at WWE AEW this week. I have to say, going trick-or-treating this year, do you have that one neighborhood near you? You know what I'm talking about for Halloween. Like, do you know the neighborhood? The good neighborhood, the one that you have to go through to make sure you get the best and finest. So I imagine you do. I imagine most people, I know where where the full-size candy bars. So it turns out, I want to say it's Compass over in Gladden Farms. Gladden Farms is a bunch of pockets and neighborhoods too, and some of the neighborhoods go crazy for this stuff. Tyler, last year and the year before, and it's gotten bigger every year, they've been really coming out for the parents more than the kids. There's houses that do like a block party style get together thing where they set up and they give away hot dogs and popcorn and nachos. Shout out to Tony. It turns out Tony, neighborhood legend, Tony was giving out hot dogs dressed like Michael Myers. I keep saying Mike Myers, like Austin Powers is there. Dressed like Michael Myers, wearing the mask and like freezing, pretending to be a statue and then waiting for people to walk by. But he was also grilling the hot dogs and giving away Modelo's. So we were walking around eating a hot dog. And I was drinking a beer and eating a hot dog while trick-or-treating. It was crazy. Everybody was just walking around with beer. There were places giving away Jell-O shots. It was wild. It was like a giant open bar that was 6 blocks wide. And people were just like dressed in costumes and throwing out candy. But not that I'm saying like, yeah, we should get everybody hammered. It'll be great. It was really like everybody just seemed like they were having fun and that they were a part of a big community. And I think those little things where we all stop It didn't feel like, yeah, we're going to pass each other and kind of acknowledge that they're there, but not say anything to each other. It was cool that everybody seemed to be like, yeah, we're all in this and we're all out. This is fun. Let's just have fun. It forced people to talk to their neighbors. It was just really cool, really positive. I was exhausted. We were about 200 yards from the car and about a half a mile away from where we initially parked to the Dozier's truck. We were 200 yards from our car. We could just get into our car. But Freya wanted to walk back with Daxton to the truck. So instead of us going into our car and driving them to the truck and then them getting into their truck, we went to one house, rode in the tailgate in the back of the bed of this pickup. Me, Freya, Jess, Dozier, Daxton, and a couple of other people all in the back of this pickup truck, all driving down the road through. And people were like, hey, you can't do that. Like kids in Halloween masks. And we're to see on trick or treat. A neighbor came out and was like, hey, you guys want some more candy? And they're like, yeah, like 10 kids shouting out windows and stuff. It was great. They were like, here you go, and gave the rest of their Halloween candy they didn't give away to us in the truck, and we just passed it out to all the kids. Man, it was so much fun. I would have had more fun at that time if I weren't fighting for life trying to stay awake. But that's my fault for staying up to do homework. I should have just turned it in super late. It was a blast, but I was really surprised at how many hot dogs were available during this trick-or-treating event. And cans of soda. Listen, shout out to people that are giving kids cans of soda because I'm sure it's more expensive than candy. Also, can we stop? Can we stop going, hey, 8-year-old, carry this weight around with you in the already too heavy for you sack so your parents have to carry it around because you know they're not going to carry that thing. That was the only thing. It's like, here's a can of soda and you watch the bag go as soon as it goes in, and it's like, all right, well.
I didn't know sodas were being given out as Halloween gifts. That's the thing.
Well, getting hot dogs. Of course you're getting sodas.
Well, that would
In fairness, they had the other people also had tons of water, and it was cool because people put their trash out so that you could they didn't have litter all over their neighborhood. And because I saw some people like leave stuff, and I was like, just come on, man, you're gonna get it from a community member and you're gonna leave it out. Not a big fan of that, but
that's not cool. Halloween in Marana. Oh my goodness. I know for typically Christmas around here, that's when you'll have people grilling or giving out food and those sorts of items. Down here, up here, it's usually just candy, and it's just, okay, what kind of Tootsie Roll or what kind of Starburst pack am I gonna get? But you had options. I love that for you, Brett.
It was a lot of fun, man. But first, Tyler, I was 3 years old. You were yet to be an idea, but it's time to play the music for Back in the Day. We haven't done it Back in the Day in a little while. It's been a couple months, I think. But let's play the music because we got a 40th birthday to celebrate. Let's get into it.
And now it's time to get old school. Prepare yourselves for Back in the Day.
That we do. We are time traveling back to the year 1985, October 29th, 1985. In fact, this took place at the Atlanta Omni Coliseum. Brad, I'm going to quote from Genius.com here. This promo is so epic that it has a Genius.com page dedicated to it. And I quote, often hailed as one of the greatest wrestling promos of all time, Dusty Rhodes readies himself for a main event match in the greatest show known to WCW, Starrcade, as he battles the Nature Boy Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and the climax to one of the most iconic rivalries of all time. That's right. We are commemorating Dusty Rhodes' Hard Times promo. Brad, I watch this periodically still to this day, particularly if I'm in my feelings or if I'm, in fact, going through hard times, and you and I have spoken on air and off air about the joys and challenges of this semester, personally and professionally. So it's incredible to me, and I'm going to kick it to you here in just a moment. It's incredible to me, the longevity, the staying power that not only Dusty Rhodes, the wrestler, has had, but particularly this promo. I think the beauty of this is not just that it helped to sell tickets to the eventual showdown between Flair and Rhodes, but that it resonated and still resonates with audiences, right? This idea that Dusty Rhodes was the everyman, that he could reach out and sort of feel your pain with you as you were maybe navigating food insecurity, or having a tempestuous boss, or whatever is going on in your life. This promo was the encapsulation of why wrestling, to me, why wrestling is such an amazing outlet for fans, for us. It's just this, at its best, it's escapism, definitely, but also at its best, it can touch on sort of these stories that really we can say, oh, we relate to that, you know, when we've seen wrestlers who have been open about their own mental health struggles or things going on in their lives. For Dusty Rhodes to dish out this promo in the midst of one of the most iconic rivalries, not only of that era, but in the history of wrestling, and the fact that 40 years later, you and I are on this here podcast giving flowers to it. When I think about what are my favorite wrestling promos of all time, of course, there's the pipe bomb. Of course, there's any number from CM Punk. Of course, there's any number of other infamous options or famous selections here. But my list has to start and stop with Hard Times by Dusty Rhodes. What a classic piece of business here. What say you? Hard Times at 40.
Everything you said resonated with me, and I was trying to figure out the timeline here. So Starrcade 85. I mean, that year is probably the best year I would say, in professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, but professional wrestling, maybe ever. Because out of Starrcade, not only did you have the simulcast Starrcade happening in two different locations, you had what most people think of WCW, they think of Atlanta. And then you had, I think it was Greensboro and Atlanta at the same time for the same event, with different matches in different locations, which I know WrestleMania 2 did that, and people have their thoughts about WrestleMania 2. But after that, we had the formation of the Four Horsemen, which I always thought that they just had formed before that. But it makes sense. It just, I feels like they were longer ago than that and just lasted forever. Kind of the way I think of like certain factions lasting, the original Bloodline. If you were to ask me, I'd be like, oh yeah, that Bloodline lasted for at least 5 years. In reality, it's like, what, 1, 2? Now we have this other thing going on, and it's confusing. But as far as a promo goes, that's the promo. It's the promo. It is the everyman. It is the financial struggles and the food insecurities, like you said, because I had to look up the dates, and as long as AI is correct, I know. Listen, I know. I know the story, because it was, all I know is 80s. It says 81 is when this started as like a Reagan thing. But my grandparents, because they were, we'll call them not wealthy, would be the recipients of government cheese. And Tyler, lots of people were like, oh, government cheese, a source of shame, a source of being in poverty. I mean, we were in a giant recession. It was gnarly, financially for a lot of people. And my grandparents, who my grandmother didn't work, and my grandfather didn't have a high paying job, and might have been retired at that time. I can't remember. They would get government cheese, and we would get a lot of the government cheese, either half of the brick or we would get the whole brick, depending on the week. I freaking loved that. And that was to offset the loss of all this dairy surplus that people couldn't buy, produced by farmers, that it was going to go to waste. So they created all these bricks of government cheese and then sent them off to families to kind of help get some food into houses, a little protein, and take care of the problem we had over here with the too much. To have Hard Times come out while people were getting shipped government cheese, something that was like, its genesis was the Great Depression. I think the context is just so important. He was speaking right to the heart of so many different people. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I remember vividly watching this Michael Keaton movie about working with, like, I can't remember if it was Japan or Korea. In the 1980s, he's like a car manufacturing person. But they were making, I want to say it was Japanese cars in a Japanese plant, but I thought he was working in Detroit or something. But it was during that time, and they kept talking about like jobs and like, yeah, it's difficult out here and all this stuff. That movie I associate with that time period in wrestling, not only because it was the actual time period, but it felt like it looked like it, because you got the two great perfect opposites. I'm rich, jet flying, Rolex wearing, like all these things. And then over here you got son of a plumber, hard times. I'm going to say daddy a whole lot. The whole
You'll
thing.
know about hard times, daddy. Hard times is being the steel worker who can't provide, can't go home and provide. It's that juxtaposition.
Pulling from Springsteen, right? Like,
yes.
So good.
At its core, wrestling always reflects society. It always reflects what's happening in the world, and specifically in America at that time period. And credit to you, Brad. You're right. This particular rivalry really touched on what was occurring in society at that time. This battle between the haves and the have-nots. And unfortunately, fast forward 40 years later now into the year we're living in 2025, I think there's still so much of that going on, and there's still so much of that concern and that worry from people all over the country about how am I going to be able to provide for my family. We're in the thick of this government shutdown and on the verge of, or not even on the verge of, but the reality of SNAP benefits being eliminated. So it's 40 years later, I'm grateful that we get to talk about it. And it also leads me to think, man, I wish we should have come further as a people than we have in terms of that, wealth and equality. At least we can turn to wrestling and have that opportunity for escapism, because like you said, Brad, this was truly a tip-top rivalry. This rich, arrogant guy with the beautiful blonde hair versus the everyman versus the American dream, Dusty Rhodes, the son of a plumber. It's pretty incredible that there have been countless, hundreds of rivalries in the history of professional wrestling. And I would say Flair versus Rhodes to this day is still at the top of the list. And we would learn later on, Brad, through Cody Rhodes, current WWE Undisputed Champion, that a lot of what Dusty Rhodes was saying was a shoot.
Yeah.
He was facing financial difficulty.
Yeah.
We didn't really know that until years later. Like, oh, wow, Dusty was real. I think that's part of what makes a promo stand out, is when you can tell from the performer, man, they're really
authenticity. Yeah.
Authenticity. They're really saying this from their chest. And we would find out Dusty sure was doing that back in 85.
Yeah. Yeah. So I looked it up just to be factually correct. The film is called Gung Ho, and it is absolutely, I know it's on like a bunch of streaming platforms. I want to check this out later just to see how problematic it is looking back at it now. But it came out in 1986, and it's about this person, Michael Keaton's character, directed by Ron Howard. So I imagine it's probably pretty good. To woo this Japanese car company to come back and open their plant in Hadleyville, a fictional town in Pennsylvania. So of course, all of it's making sense. All of it makes sense. So it's to see a movie like that, and specifically so they could attract people back, so they could find jobs for the people in Hadleyville who were without work. That's what I remember about it. Is like it is the embodiment of hard times at that time. And it all ties together. So I think context is so important there. But yeah, we love us some hard times around here, unless they're literal, then we don't. But I know what else we love. And it's something, if you've been with us for a little while, it's definitely something you're familiar with on this show. And if my screen would cooperate and I don't know, I could stop filibustering, it's the greatest two words in our show's history, I would dare say. And that is Steph.
That, my friends, was an A1 transition for, dare I say, an A1 segment here on the podcast.
It's fun.
Right, it's our time to discuss Stephanie Vaquer, our Raw Women's Champ. So last week, you may recall that we talked about her blossoming friendship with Nikki Bella. It is now official. Vaquer and Bella are challenging Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez on Raw tonight. I must say, I foresee this leading to either Nikki or Steph turning on each other before the calendar year is up. Hopefully not imminently. I am putting so much of my hope and my well-being in this tag team and this friendship lasting for at least the next month and change. I need this to keep me going as we traverse through the semester. But ultimately, I not only could, Brad, I definitely see one or the other again turning on the other and starting a feud for that championship. Which heel turn do you think would make more sense? Nikki Bella, the highly respected, highly loved Hall of Famer coming back and turning heel, or do you think we could be in line for Steph switching it up and truly embracing the Dark Angel persona?
Nikki. I think Nikki makes more sense. She's bulletproof. She's a Hall of Famer. What else do you have to like? I think two things. Number one, I don't think Stephanie needs to. I think we shouldn't do that. We should leave that alone. That's number one. Number two, I think having Nikki turn heel, it opens up the opportunity to her do a lot more cheating and not having to do as much physical, physically demanding in-ring work. Because we know there's been injury issues. She's been out of the game for a while, and putting her in a position where she can look really good by doing less makes a lot more sense, because then she can maintain her kind of legacy of her persona. Trying to find the words to describe that, but like just preserving what she has without accidentally going out there and looking like she's been out of the ring for 10 years. And we know she's been in there a bunch, but I think it would be fun to see a heel Nikki. She's really good at it. So Stephanie, what does a heel Stephanie look like if Jade's also going to end up being like a heel champ? I'm sure we'll get into that later. I also think like the language barrier, I don't want them to do this, because this is what they did with Shinsuke. Shinsuke being a babyface, he spoke in English. As soon as they made him like a dark persona, they had him actually cut promos in Japanese, which he should have been doing the entire time. And I'm afraid they're going to do that to Stephanie. Make her heel, and then she only speaks Spanish. And now you have the Spanish speaking. If you're speaking a foreign language, you're the bad guy. I don't want to see that, because if you're a babyface speaking in both languages, you have to do both to be a babyface, right? Like Penta has done it. We've seen it happen where it's like, I'll speak in English and then I'll speak in Spanish, kind of give you both. I don't know. I'm afraid of what WWE will do here, because they have a terrible track record, including under Triple H.
I'm here for your vision, Brad. I think for the WWE audience, particularly the main roster audience, we still need to develop who Stephanie Bacchère is as a character before we just totally do a 180 and switch it up. Yeah, everything about her presentation is working right now. Mm-hmm. She's getting outstanding receptions wherever they go in the country and abroad. Yeah, exactly. I say we continue to ride that, and we really flesh out who she is. There's little wrinkles, right? Like her entrance, there's new elements, and there's just new parts of her we're learning as a character. Like you, I say continue to ride that out. And then when it's time, you can flip that switch. Eventually, when there's the Steph versus Rhea money feud for the title, maybe then we see some switch ups. But for now, I agree with you. I think the move would be Nikki Bella turning heel and then starting that program. But again, we cannot get this until December, Christmas at the earliest. I'm here for this friendship, and I'm really excited for this tag match on Raw.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. They're doing some really good stuff over there, and I'm excited to see what I don't know how you feel. I'm trying to be positive here, but like, I just feel like we've been in the doldrums a little bit, and it's starting to feel like they're coming out of it, and it's going to get really exciting. It's November, and this is more of a build to the Royal Rumble at this point than anything else in between then. So I'm excited that we're getting closer to that. And I know we have other stuff, and I'm sure they're great, but it's John Cena's, last match. Who's he going to face? Yeah. We have that other main event. I completely forgot that it was Saturday night's main event. Completely slipped my mind. I was watching Collision, and then I saw that Punk won, and I went, "Oh, whoa, that's crazy." Just so much, I turned it off. I was like, "I'll watch it tomorrow." I can't do this anymore. I'm so tired. I just wanted to go eat some Halloween candy, fall asleep. Tyler, speaking of Saturday night's main event and all of the great things WWE and AEW are doing. We got to get into WWE. We got to talk Saturday night main event and the aftermath specifically. I see here on my notes, which is exactly what I have for you. So let's get into it. Hit me with your question.
Okay, so Jade is champ. CM Punk is champ. I want to know, what did you think of the latest Saturday night's main event, Brad? And which of those aforementioned new title holders holds their championship for the longest?
Jade's going to hold it longer than anybody there right now, like current champions, I think. Aside from Cody, who's going to hold it, but or already has. I just think Jade needs to be, after they had her beat, not like win, but beat Tiffany Stratton that way. I got what I wanted. Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted Jade to go out there and just dominate, and they went, all right, we're going to have her go out there and dominate.
We discussed it. We discussed it last week.
Yes,
when she returned in Tempe. Okay, this is the moment. This is the moment for Jade to embrace that TBS title run of, oh no, she is here to win singles gold, and we need it to occur. And who would have known, man? Salt Lake City, the prophecy came true.
And you know what? Like, it's people are gonna say like, oh, well, I'll ask you the question later. I'll shut up. But it's the, stealing formula idea. Jade is, look at her. It's not stealing a formula. It's having eyes. Like, it's just look at her, have her do that. Jade rules. I love her. I'm glad they're having her do stuff that she should be doing, which is dominate everybody in a way that makes it look like, nobody has a chance here. She's just gonna nuke people, and you're gonna like it. Like, that's it. That's all I wanted. The person I want to see dethrone Jade, though, is Roxanne Perez, because I just think that juxtaposition will be amazing. Get a babyface Roxanne fighting to heel Jade. That would be the move at WrestleMania for me. That's what I want to see happen, because I think that would be incredible. Or even Liv would be awesome, because having a couple of the smaller people get in there against Jade and not just be stomped out. When was the last time we saw a proper giant killer?
Particularly on the women's side of things.
I just, in general, it's
been a minute. My initial reaction.
We've had people beat giants, but they're also very large human beings. It's not Ray versus the literal giant,
Big Show,
Paul White.
And if we think about Jade's previous reign, if we can bring up, I know we try not to mix AEW, WWE, but for the purpose of your question, if we think about how Jade's TBS title run ended in AEW, she didn't lose to a much smaller competitor, Underdog Jones. She lost to Chris Statlander, who
exactly,
but believably could take Jade on and win that match.
Same size. She's not nearly as shredded as Jade. Nobody is. I don't think anybody on the planet is as shredded as Jade Cargill. Before people come at me for that, like, Jade is just could lay against a brick of cheese and you would get shredded cheese. Like, it's just the end.
The threads of this episode. So Roxanne, that would be fun, just from a Jade fan perspective of, we haven't seen that in a previous. I mean, we've seen her obviously compete against smaller women of a smaller stature, but for her to have a title program with, like you said, a Roxanne or even a Liv Morgan, I would be very enticed by that. I would be here for it.
Yeah, the other side of that would be Jade versus Nia. Like, something like that would also be awesome. Or
sure.
Jade
Jade versus Bianca eventually
Jade
is a WrestleMania match.
Yeah. Jade versus Bianca is probably where the storyline needs to go, unless they're going to wait for Naomi to come back. But then, like, what do you do with that? Like, I think Naomi will come back, same persona, big fat baby face. Like,
100%.
That's the move. She's got to come back as she was, but she will be beloved. Her cackle will get huge applause. Like, her laugh.
The reaction
it's going to be unreal.
Is going to be special.
Oh man, that's going to be so good. I'm actually so excited for that. I'm really happy they're having a kid. I can't wait for her to come back. Like, I hope she's also able to come back and everybody's healthy. I do want to say that on the front end, because it's not always like that. Sometimes there are complications and pains and all that stuff. So,
but before we
answer your question, though,
before we bury the lead, no hesitation. CM Punk's reign not going to be as long as Jade.
No. I didn't even have that as a thought. I don't need it. Like, do you need it? Like, I don't need it. I think they're setting up something. I just don't know what. I don't think CM Punk needs it either. I don't think CM Punk cares. That's more of a like who's popular, who can carry it, who do we trust, like all that. How could you not with CM Punk? You know he's going to deliver on promos. He's going to have really good matches. Like you could throw him in there with anybody and potentially have a quality story with quality matches that maybe aren't going to light the world on fire, but are certainly going to be entertaining for everybody. I've always liked his in-ring work, not because he's like physically unbelievable and all of that, because sometimes I feel like he's running through snow. He just looks slow, and he always has looked like that. Even if he's not, it just kind of looks like that. It's because he's so effing good at his physical and his facial reactions in the ring that he makes me go, oh, dude, this guy is struggling right now, or he's really enjoying himself. He's so good at the in-ring acting work that I enjoy that more than I enjoy the wrestling part. Like the crowd interaction, the way he talks to his opponents, the way he'll sell a knee and remember that, oh yeah, this is an important part of this match. I just got the crap kicked out of my knee. Little things like, I got to try kicking this out before I get onto the rope, right? Like little things like that I think some guys forget make all the difference in the world. So I love watching him do that. But I would love watching him do that without a title too. So I don't know where this goes. I imagine there'll be another match with Jay. They'll probably do a rematch. Jay's probably going to be like, I know I can get him. I almost had him, all that stuff. And really do the heel turn thing. I bet Punk's attacked this week, either vocally or physically or both. And we'll find out more then. I just think that Jade is the one that's going to be running for a long time here.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. He's an excellent pronouns pal. CM Punk is an excellent storyteller. One of the best of all time at this point.
Yes.
That's pretty undisputed.
Totally agreed.
Jade needs this title reign more to establish her in WWE. And for CM Punk, as a fan, I'm still trying to figure out what is this men's world championship on Monday nights, because the one that Cody carries, the undisputed, it's undisputed for a reason. It feels to me like the 1A men's title in WWE, and the, what do they call this one? The World Heavyweight Championship.
I think so, yeah.
No disrespect to the previous title holders. Gunther did an amazing job. Seth is one of the best wrestlers in the world, but it just feels like a complete 1B, if not 1C for
100%,
me.
Yeah.
So to your point, who do you put it on? Because I would argue it's still this world championship is still in the establishment phase, even though you've had some great superstars who have held it. So who do you put it on? You and I spoke about this last week, Brad. It so clearly had to be CM Punk at this point. I'm excited to see what he does with it and what additional cachet he can build for this title. I don't know that we'll ever view it on the same level as the one Cody Rhodes holds right now, but if there's anyone who can continue to help elevate its prestige and have stories that also elevate the title, that, they got it on the right guy. Even though his reign, I don't think, should be nearly as long as Jade's. I'm excited to see what this can do for the Raw men's division. And
totally.
Braun Breaker is going to be nipping at his heels.
Going to say the same.
Well.
I was just going to say that. The move here, I think, is CM Punk, eventual to Braun.
Yes.
He drops it to Braun. Braun has championship run.
Yes.
Seth Rollins comes back to reclaim his title, and that's the Mania match.
I was going to say we got almost the next year of main event stories written up. Or
as long as everybody's healthy,
April.
100%.
Yes.
And you could very easily be like, all right, Bronson got involved. They were going to have a match, DQ Jones, all that stuff. Who comes out to help CM Punk? Seth Rollins. He doesn't like it, but he does it. Eventual tag with Rollins and Punk versus them, but they're beefing the entire time, somehow pull a win. They still hate each other's guts. Like I could see stuff like that happening. And imagine how much that would be a fun Saturday main event match. Like Seth Rollins, CM Punk versus the New Vision. I'd be in because I'd want to see how would it implode?
Yeah.
Or would it implode?
Punk and Rollins.
The ultimate can they coexist?
Like he did with Cody in the build to WrestleMania 4. Exactly. Listen, man, if you get a text or you get a DM from Paul Levesque this week, I think we need to cite this first episode of November as being the turning point. You laid out
team market.
You laid out a fantastic story for
the
this
roadmap
championship.
Yes, the road to WrestleMania, Tyler. Yeah,
the road to WrestleMania.
So Tyler, CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes, Ricky Starks, they all snapped a pic with each other after the main event. So Is WWE doing this as a statement about AEW dropping the ball with their talent? Or do you think it's just a picture among friends in the business that happen to work for the same company?
Of course, it's the former. When I saw this, there are moments
all they
throughout the
needed was
week.
Ethan Page, who also,
Yes.
Yeah.
There are moments throughout the week, every week, where there will be a tweet or a picture or a video, and instantly I'll know, okay, I am saving this to ensure that we bring it up on the podcast.
Mhm.
When I saw this, perhaps I had the same reaction as you, that we must discuss it either during WWE or the What Did We Miss? I'm so glad you brought this up right now, Brad. A complete flex.
That's
just a beautiful picture. They all look great. They're all successful. They're all healthy from what we know right now. A complete flex on AEW and Tony Khan. So much so, Brad, that when I saw this, I even thought some revisionist history here on GI. What if there was a world in which these four were still with AEW? And can you imagine if we lived in a world where for CM Punk and Cody Rhodes were still in All Elite Wrestling? Ricky Saints, the artist formerly known as Ricky Starks, was still there. And if Jade was still there, I even led me to think about, wow, what would the top of WWE's division look like? What would the posters look like if these names weren't in the company? So it was a total flex. I'm here for it. AEW has a lot. I'm sorry, AEW. Let me try that again. Has a lot of exciting potential storylines and potential matches right now, which I know we'll get into in a little bit. So I think they're doing okay. I think there's a lot to look forward to there. But for WWE to acquire these four talents within the last 3 to 4 years, respectively, some of them have been more recent. It's huge, man, because these weren't just good signings. These were people who could really change the game and do some business wonders for the company. So it was a complete flex, but I'm here for it. I'm glad all four of them are healthy and seem to be really happy in their new setting right now. They're champions.
I think I'll say it again, and I know you have your feelings about this, and certainly it's nothing's perfect here. If Triple H doesn't take over, if Vince doesn't get embroiled in a lawsuit and accusations, criminal charges, all of those things, then I think AEW is dominating the ratings. I think NXT is still on the wrong night and maybe out of business at this point. I think so much stuff would have happened in the WWE. They wouldn't be doing all these different shows in different places and selling out arenas. And they were having a hard time selling tickets, just like AEW has a harder time selling out tickets now. Then I don't think the talent would have jumped ship seeing like, oh, there are good opportunities over there, because at the time there weren't. There were bad opportunities over there and people were leaving because of how toxic it was. And then suddenly the culture changed and became like more, I don't know, client personnel friendly, I guess. So talent friendly is the word I was looking for there. I think, of course, that's going to be more enticing to somebody like Jade, who is clearly on a rocket, and somebody like Cody, who built this thing up and now he's beloved, and him coming home, everybody loves a return. Him coming home to be this different character, to go just the Drew McIntyre route. I get why Drew would want to feud with Cody, because he had a very similar story. He was there. He was like a chosen one, son of one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. It didn't work out. He got fired, pal, went somewhere else to build his name up. Now he's back. That's the Drew McIntyre story. And I just didn't care about that feud, because I'm kind of tired of heel Drew. I like this Drew is just whiny.
Mm-hmm.
I like dickhead Drew, but I don't
Who
like
wins. We like winners.
Yeah, like I like this Drew. I mean, he won. In fairness, he won a championship, kind of, for like 4 seconds. Like it's a whole. It's anyway. I'm just saying. Like I think that picture in and of itself is a testament to what Triple H has been able to build over there, warts and all. I still think there's a ton of problems, and I know you agree with me, and we don't have to go into that. But I think just from the standpoint of like a healthy talent culture in the locker room itself, relationship versus the optics of what we see, I think that there's a lot of really good things going on over there. I also had a question about you for you about. I'll save it for what did we miss, I guess, and we'll get to it then, because we got to get into a couple of promos. I have a feeling, Tyler, this will not be a short episode. We have to get into this. I went glasses shopping last week. You had a check engine light come on that was not a little one. It's time to get into it. Play the music. Let's get into promo of the week.
And now, the promo of the week.
Okay, so Tyler, last week I texted you at Warby Parker. I was at the Long Katahdin Mall, and I've gotten Warby Parker glasses for years. Everybody's like, oh, you get them because you're like a millennial and you like the style. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know that I'm a millennial. I'm more millennial than Gen X, but I'm an Xennial, whatever that is. Second of all, no, I don't get them just because of the style. I get them because of the style and because they're $135 without insurance with the high index lenses. They're $95 if you have like normal vision and just need a little bit of glasses. I need a lot of bit of glasses. I can't see past about a foot and a half without it getting blurry. So my lenses are about 3 or 4 feet thick. And if I don't get the high index lenses, which makes them like way thinner, so they're not sticking out the side of the frames, I got to add on the $40 charge. It's only $40 there. When I went to Progressive or Lens Crafters or wherever it was around $250 to do the high index lenses for mine with cheap frames, which were $100. And then the lenses themselves were a couple $100. Insurance took care of most of that or all of that. And then it was another $200. And then if I added progressives on there, Tyler, $400. So we're looking at about $800 or $900 before insurance if I go to Lens Crafters. For progressives, about $500, $400, something like that, if I go to some other place and I don't get progressive lenses. If I go to Warby Parker, they're $135 without insurance, and we get insurance reimbursement. So I went in there going like, this is the least expensive option, really high quality stuff. I like what they stand for. They will sell a pair of glasses to somebody that is like poor or doesn't have the means for a really cheap, like, I don't know how much, but I had heard like $10, so that they feel like they have ownership over it because they have to pay something. But that way they have a pair of glasses that they can then take care of probably better just because they paid for it. So I really like that idea, and I like that they're giving back. Now, they're the least expensive. That was all to say that. So when I got progressives without looking, and they were like, oh, cool. So your total will be $465. I told them, I got to go take a little walk.
No, you did it. That's a shoot?
Absolute shoot. I was like, you guys are up until 6, right? It's like, yep. I go, I'm going to go take a walk. They're like, oh. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm spending that. So I went outside and I walked around. And
Long Katahdin is an outdoor mall for those who haven't been or outside of Arizona. Very gorgeous, bougie outdoor mall.
If you were in Tucson and just want to go to a place that has stores that's just beautiful, go there. That's the place. You don't even have to
perfect place for a walk. Awesome. Mid Warby Parker,
and they have an Apple store, so you can at least get in there if you need one, because it's like the only one I can think of. So in Tucson, anyway. So anyway, walking around, it was really nice. I checked the Avisis insurance stuff because they don't cover it there. Avisis isn't part of that program because, frankly, they're kind of awful. Avisis is basically a coupon where you get you pay a subscription service to get one eye appointment a year, and then percentages for glasses and discounts. I have 2 of them. I have through Jess, through myself. And even if I can double reimburse, it'll only take $120 off, if that, off the total cost of the $450 thing. So I decided my short vision, like if I got to read close, you know what I'll do? I'll read it like this and I'll go like that. And that's what I'll do. I went back and got single visions. Tyler, vision insurance is some absolute bull. Why am I paying these greedy motherfuckers every month, every week, every paycheck to go in and have them go, yeah, that'll be $450, please? What is the point of this? I don't understand. Like, I got to spend $500 on some plastic around my eyeballs just to see correctly. Why am I paying for this? I'm saving I get $130 with two insurance plans. If I take one of them at $70, that's less than what I'm paying for the year through them. So why just not pay them and save my money for my next set of glasses? And then I will have no problems from there on. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absurd. I'm pissed about it. I'm mad. I'm throwing my money away. That is all. Oh, but I got some Unabomber looking glasses, so I'm excited about scaring the kids. Go ahead.
Halloween. Well, no. You shouldn't dress as the Unabomber.
No, you should not.
No.
They're a little different, but they are aviators. So
yeah, the production team will edit that out of the podcast. We'll be just fine here. Well, listen, man, I'm clearly Team Winchester on that one, and as you alluded to, I also have a promo. AAA car service, the car shop.
Thank you for clarifying, and not the wrestling company.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah, you said it, man. You teased it perfectly. I was on my way to a district required workshop last week. So I already put in the sub, already got the seating charts all set, picked up the Cheetos off the ground of the classroom, and set everything up for success, right? So peep this, check this out, envision this. I am driving Wednesday morning, 43rd and Bell, for those who live in the Valley, on my way, tunes playing to this workshop at District HQ, when my check engine light comes on, and it says, engine overheated, idle engine. And I think to myself, again, as someone who has seen every Fast and Furious movie, but does not know a lick about automobiles, I say to myself, this is not good. Fortunately, there was a huge Fry's shopping plaza to my right. So I simply pull over, ironically across the street from an AutoZone, mind you. I pull over into the Fry's lot, and I'll spare our audience all the details. But what ends up happening is I get the car towed by AAA. Shout out to my amazing dad, who was always at my beck and call, and just the consummate dad. Like, I told him he should start a YouTube page with the dad videos, how to change this in your car, how to do, like he is that guy. I think he's a little too shy to do it, but I know he would be phenomenal. Love that man. So anyway, the story includes him helping me brainstorm and logistically pulling all this off. But Brad, this happens on a Wednesday. I'm going to skip some details here to get to the main point. We bring in the car on Friday morning. I also have to take off from school. So I miss Halloween at school. I miss wearing my Stone Cold Steve Austin costume to Sunny Slope High School. I'm very hurt that I didn't get that opportunity.
Did you wear it to the deal? You got to tell me you had it on the way to AAA.
No, I was too pissed. No, I was too pissed to even think of Halloween spirit.
Stunning Randall or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Keep the stunner, hold the outfit, hold the blue spandex shorts and the vest and the chest suit that it comes with. No, man, I was too spicy to actually wear a Halloween costume. That's so fair. My dad and I end up being the first customers at this AAA auto shop. We walk in, lights are off, no one's there. We wait a few minutes, and then Craig, the receptionist, comes out and takes our situation. And at this point, we called another tow truck. We had a tow truck on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we call it again, but this time to bring my vehicle, a Chevy Sonic, smaller car, to bring it to the AAA Auto Center to get this repaired. Because my dad and I agreed, we think the folks at AAA more trustworthy than the repair folks at the dealership, right? So bring it into AAA, speak with Craig, assess what's going on. Okay, here you go. We'll call you 2 schmucks later. We'll take a look. We have one mechanic in. He'll take a look and we'll get back to you. All right, dude. See you later. Fist bump Jones. So Craig does call later that afternoon, and he gives the assessment of what's going on. Apparently, the water pump needs to be changed, and then this thermostat thing, and then this coolant here. It's going to run you $1,800. So the question becomes, do you approve that we can get this work done, and do you approve this bill amount? And $1,800 includes the AAA reward deductions, the membership discounts, like you said, the coupons. Okay, $1,800. Let's run it. He says, okay, cool. We're ordering a part in. I will call you tomorrow morning, which will now be this past Saturday. I'll call you tomorrow morning to provide you with an update. Okay, Craig. Sounds great. Thanks, my man. Have a great Halloween. Brad Winchester, I'm here to tell you, Saturday morning comes and goes. No call, no email. Saturday afternoon comes and goes. No call and no email. What the fuck, Craig? We had a plan. You told me what the plan was. I agreed to it. And then you just deviate from the plan. So I am expecting some communication from, I was going to say from brother Craig. Craig is white. I'm expecting some communication from Craig on Monday. That's what my mom would say. My mom always puts brother in front. Yeah. I'm expecting a call from Craig on Monday, Brad, to figure out the status of my car. Is all okay? Can we right the ship? Do I need to explore potential trade-in options for my vehicle? What is going on? Can we just honor our word? Can we be leaders of men? Craig, you failed this test. I need you to call me. If you're listening to this podcast, I thank you so much for your great service. And please, please fix my car. I love the Sonic and I don't want to give it up yet.
I can't. Who's your favorite Craig? I only have one. I can't think of a lot of Craigs.
Who I know personally or from film? No, just
in general. Personally.
Okay. Craig,
in general.
Craig Marcus. He was my high school PE and basketball coach. He's still here in the Valley. Still at the old high school. Craig Marcus is my pick.
Thank you. I don't have a lot of Craigs. I got a Craig's as last names in my life. Shout out to Tyler. She was a great Craig in high school.
It's a good name.
Spoiler. So Craig T. Nelson and Craig Ferguson are the only Craigs I can think of. Shout out to Coach. Like I got nothing. Not a lot of Craigs. I don't think we're making too many Craigs these days. So I just thought like there's a Craig. How old is Craig, would you say? 50s or later?
Probably 40s.
40s.
Late 40s, early 50s.
Okay. Hurtful a little bit, but I get it. Okay. I don't know a lot of Craigs. Like Hanks, Franks. We don't have a lot of those. I don't know a lot of Craigs.
Triple A Craig. Actually, no. Mountain Ridge High School Craig Marcus, also probably in his 40s. Maybe mid 40s.
Wow.
Yeah. Craig AAA, late 40s, early 50s, I would estimate.
So Craig Marcus was your basketball coach?
Yeah. PE teacher and basketball coach. Wow.
So was he
I haven't seen him in years.
When he was your coach? Trying to do math here. I'm like,
yeah, I may have. Yeah, I don't know how accurate.
I suppose. I mean, like if he's in his late 40s, that would make sense.
Great dude, a leader of men, keeps his word. Keeps his word. I'm going to call you at this time.
Shout out to other coach. Yeah.
Shout out. Yeah.
All right, Tyler.
Don't ask for much here.
Speaking of coach, we just talked about player coach, and now we have to transition into his previous company, AEW. Let's get into it. Hit me with your AEW question.
Okay, so tag teams are everywhere in AEW right now, which I quite enjoy.
So great.
FTR, your favorite team, earned the right to challenge Bandito and Brody King at Full Gear. I actually did not see that coming. I'm okay with it. The Sisters of Sin advanced in the inaugural women's tag title tournament. Marina Shafir, another one of your favorites, replaced an injured Penelope Ford to tag with Megan Bayne. And this week on Wednesday Night Dynamite, we're getting Mercedes Moné and Athena versus Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. My question for you, which teams across the men's and women's division are you highest on right now? And I want to run this question back. Who should win the women's tournament?
Man, I mean, if Mercedes and Athena are together, it should be them. But Marina Shafir, and if it's Marina and Bayne versus Athena and Mercedes, just inject that into my veins.
Eating the popcorn right now. Shout out to
because it's like
I'm eating popcorn.
You have two of the best in-ring talents in any women's division anywhere with Mercedes. Maybe the two of the top performers in general with Mercedes and Athena. And then you put them against Megan Bayne, who is great. Marina Shafir, who is really great at what she does. I think this is why I get so mad about this stuff. Cause she's like, she can't work. She doesn't do the wrestling stuff like everybody else. She's not trying to. She's going in there as like a fighter. That's why it looks different, because everything that she's doing, like when you watch it, it's like, she's just doing MMA. She's actually doing the stuff you would see. You wouldn't stop and wait and do all the stuff that wrestlers do to tell the story. She's in there going like, yeah, I'm just going to break your ankle and call it a day. And it's just sort of awesome. I popped for her taking the socks off and throwing them at the camera. That made me chuckle. I think that would be a lot of fun, because you have like these violent killer with a behemoth versus two excellent in-ring talents. I think that could be a ton of fun. I don't know who wins the inaugural. I have no idea. I know it's Willow and Harley. I love you. But unless Athena and Mercedes start throwing haymakers at each other, you have no chance. And it's just not happening. And I'm sorry to say that Harley's definitely eating that one. But I know it's going to be funny as hell. And I really hope the puppet comes back. So I'm hopeful for all of those things because I love all of the talent involved, all of them. Even this week, I thought, I can't remember who the Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir fought against. But I think Moxley, when he was on commentary, I kind of hate that. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of hate Mox on commentary right now. I love Mox on commentary. It doesn't make sense for him to be this like fun-loving dude that everybody's getting along with on commentary when every week they go out and talk about how he's destroying the company and trying to ruin it for everybody and how nefarious is he is. And then they're just having fun conversation and wrestling banter at the desk. It's like, did you guys make up your mind? That was the only thing I didn't like. But him being out there and talking about how those talent, I like them. They're feisty. Like putting these people over that like nobody knows who they are really. And they looked great. I thought they were a lot of fun. I went, I could see them doing this. This could be a good fit. They have to figure out the character work other than like different colored dyed hair Harley Quinn. I don't know what that was, but like I think they could be on TV and awesome because their in-ring work was really good. If that was a tryout, I thought it was a successful one. But I really like the banter. Marina getting into Bane's face right away and telling her what's up, and then they go out there, and then I think Megan Bayne was trying to look down at her waist to be like title belt, but it kept looking like she was checking her out. I mean, I get it, but she kept going like. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, this is getting uncomfortable. It was certainly a thing that happened for the men's side of things. I mean, it's just loaded. The Bucks are feeling buckier. I know there's going to be $1 million put on the line now or something by Don Callis. I don't know where that goes. There's just tag teams all over the place. And I love it. If they could focus more on that, and build them up as like the teams are the biggest stars in the company, which I feel like they're doing right now a good job of, then I think that will alleviate the pressure of the top stars. So many of them being out or not at maximum capacity to give that individual star stuff its proper shine. Then I think that will help build the company up. I think it'll entertain us for a long time. So I have no idea who's going to win any of this stuff. I just wanted to gas up everybody that I've loved watching so far. So I don't have a pick for you. I have no idea. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, there are so many viable teams in this tournament. If you were just going from a kayfabe standpoint, Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir should be the front runners to win this tournament.
Yes.
And you and I were on here many a time speaking about Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne being an ideal choice to be the inaugural champions. I am very pro Sisters of Sin. Brad, they've been a team for a while. This would, I think, do wonders. I mean, we've seen Julia Hart as TBS champ when she was just uber hot.
Yeah, I think to your point, yeah, they deserve it.
I think this could do wonders not only for her but for Sky Blue to have her first title in AEW. And then they're in a trio with Tackle. I think that could help elevate the trio as a whole if they have gold. So really enjoying their work. Like you said, we also have Mercedes and Athena, kayfabe wise, outside of kayfabe, two of the best in the industry, regardless of gender. And then also, by the way, you have Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. I believe they're rebranded as the Timeless Love Bombs.
Yes.
Who, and I don't know how I feel about this, but to me seem to be positioned as the favorites to win it all. I definitely think they're making it to the finals. And I think they're going to go all the way and win this entire tournament. I'm usually not in love with two singles wrestlers being put together for tournament purposes.
Me either.
And then now we know they've been friends on screen, but for AEW, I think that Timeless Toni Storm character is so valuable and there's so much fan investment in her that if her and Mina Shirakawa don't win the tournament, what is the storyline for Toni Storm? I trust in her creativity. I trust in how AEW values her, that there could be something meaningful outside of a title picture, but I foresee Storm and Shirakawa going all the way. However, again, my pick would be Sisters of Sin. I also would love Ty J there's an alternate scenario in which they make it to the semis or even the finals. They've been a tag team, I think, the longest out of anyone in this entire tournament. But unfortunately, right now, I just don't see them. I mean, obviously, I don't see them being the inaugural champs or maybe even the second. But I'm a big fan of both of them. And as an act, I think there's a lot more legs to what they can do. So I don't want to forget about them. But on the women's side, I would love to see the Sisters of Sin pull it off. On the men's side, Brad, I was really impressed with Jet Speed during Dynamite.
Yeah.
What they can do in the ring is just,
yeah.
I just have these moments watching Speedball Bailey and Kevin Knight where I see them and say, wow, that's incredibly impressive that a human being can do that. And they've just really resonated with audiences. You were kind of plotting out the Raw men's title. I could foresee a scenario in which FTR dethrones Brodito, and then Jet Speed would be the guys to dethrone FTR. Not Cope and Christian, but Jet Speed eventually being the guys to take those titles off the dudes from Asheville. So I'm just super high on Jet Speed right now.
I hope so, because we've been on them for a while, going like, these guys are amazing. We want to see more of them.
And they're resonating with the crowd,
right?
Yeah.
Listen. I guess the long and short of it is we are in a good place with tag team division, and the fact that we can talk about all the different possibilities for champs and combinations of matches is like it's a pretty wonderful thing. I'm excited for it. I'm also excited because I was thinking about this earlier. Now that we're talking about the tag division, we have all the people that aren't in the tag division that are all in Blood and Guts. So my question for you, now that we sort of know more about it, and Mark Briscoe going like, tell them what we're going to do, and Orange Cassidy going, Blood and Guts, like not being excited about it at all was so on brand, but I thought it was really cool. So my question is simple. Do you think the Blood and Guts setup for 2 Blood and Guts matches will hurt one or the other match just because of exposure?
I don't, but with a caveat. The women's Blood and Guts has to main event the show in Greensboro. I am far more invested in the women's match. Not only is it going to be, speaking of inaugural, not only is it going to be the first ever women's Blood and Guts, but the storylines, dare I say, the star power involved, no shade. For the women's match, it is at such an elevated level as compared to Death Riders versus, like you said, OC, Briscoe, Darby, and Paragon. I also think Death Riders probably win that Blood and Guts match, which I don't know if I want that storyline wise, because I would prefer the Death Riders unravel. But
yeah, agreed.
But I just see a scenario in which the Death Riders versus Team AEW opens Blood and Guts, and then the main event has to be the women. And I could see that's where, say, Team Statlander gets the W in that scenario. So at this point, I'm just far more invested in the women's match than the men's match. I think that it's I don't know that it can hurt the build per se. I just think that for much of the AEW fan base, we've just been over the Death Riders, and I just don't have any interest in seeing them in these multi-man matches anymore. That the build has been hurt for me. It's been affected for months because we've just gone to that Death Riders well far too often. Way more invested in the women. I think it's going to be an incredible main event for them. I did not think that Mercedes and Chris and Tony Storm were going to be involved in this. So to me, this is a Christmas has come early scenario. I can't wait.
Yeah.
What say you?
I think it'll be fine, but I agree with you. I don't really have a lot to add there other than I completely agree. If the women don't main event, egregious mistake. I think you can't build it up as this is the first, this is the first, this is the first, this is the first mid card. Like that would ruin it entirely.
You sold tickets off the strength of the women being this. We just found out, like you said, this past week that here's what's going to be the men's match. For weeks, you've sold tickets in Greensboro because you knew it was going to be Sisters of Sin versus, Hater, Aminata, and some other mix. So just out of respect to the women, this has to be the main event. You've sold tickets based on the strength of the women's match alone.
Okay.
And Mercedes come on now. Mercedes is going to be main eventing, period.
So it says it's going to broadcast live as a special episode, and it'll be Dynamite. Is that back to back? Do you have any idea? I don't know. I don't remember.
back to back in term.
Yeah. So like, is it like
Dynamite and Collision?
Yeah, I don't know because sometimes they do.
Oh,
that,
just
so,
logistically with the cages, you're thinking?
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking as the show. If it's going to be at this place and it's going to take place, it doesn't. I don't know if they've even announced it yet. All I see information wise is that there's the event will be broadcast live as a special episode of AEW's Dynamite, but I don't know if that means we're getting an extra hour or not. Because if they do that, then they could set up, pull it back up, take out the because there'll be 2 rings, right?
Right.
Take out the extra ring or at least clean up the canvas because there'll be blood.
I was going to
everywhere.
say, you know, especially for that men's match, if it opens, that there's going to be some cleanup needed.
Maybe they'll have a parking lot street fight during that night or something so they can just raise the cage logistically and do that. So if they do it back to back, I feel like that's a mistake, a giant mistake, because they'll be fatigued from the first one. And then I don't know how the hell they're going to do that, because like the Blood and Guts match is usually half the episode, or at least a half an hour's worth of the episode. So you have to imagine that half of the episode at minimum will be dedicated to Blood and Guts. And then what do you do to fill that time, give that time for tear out and clean up and all that stuff? That we ought to have backstage promos and stuff like that, which I'm sure they'll do. Maybe a commercial break, another promo, and then you're ready. I don't know, but that stuff makes me interested. I just think like if you bookend the show, that would probably be the most effective use of time. But then logistically, how does that work? I also think if it's a 3-hour show, it would be better if you start with men's, end with women's, and have a show in between that. It'll be enough time in between where you can build anticipation up again and be excited for another Blood and Guts match. It just means that first one also needs to show out so that we can be like, oh my God, we're going to need another one of these. Otherwise, it might just be fatigue. I don't want anybody to get outshined, but I also want the audience to still be awake by the time we get there. I think at home, it'll be fine. But, the enjoyment of watching the show is sometimes mitigated if the crowd there isn't into it, where you're like, oh man, people sound bored. It must be a boring match. You just think of it that way, even though it's not. Or you find yourself angry at the crowd instead of thinking about the match. So I want whatever is going to be the best for these women is what I want. And I'm just excited they get the opportunity to go out there, because sometimes we get firsts and it's like, how is this the first? This is crazy. And sometimes we get Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa and history changes. So shout out to both of them, by the way. I haven't seen them in a hot minute. I'm just excited to see it. I just hope they set it up right and give us a really great match. I'm sure they will, but without us being fatigued from the first one. Overexposure Jones.
Right. Well, speaking of expectation, yes, Taz would say. We missed Taz. Speaking of expectation setting, Brad, in case you didn't realize, the season finale of season 2 of The Golden Bachelor is this week. I have some notes for you. I have some predictions to make. Let's set some expectations. It's time for a rose from me. Let's hit the music.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Great lead-in.
Thank you. I try. I have a great co-host. Try to live up to the bar he has set. All right, Brad, the Women Tell All occurred last week. Just some quick notes from this. Nicole had her heel. She got her comeuppance as a heel. You may recall a few weeks ago I shared with you. She was positioned as the biggest villain of the season, someone who kind of outwardly shared that she was here to become an influencer. But she had a bit of a babyface edit. She got a few minutes to speak. She kind of got called out by some of the other cast members. And I think she left the show as a winner, that maybe there are some redeeming qualities to Nicole, even though she clearly still wants to become an influencer from this fame. However, what else was a winner from this? The format, Brad. This was 1 hour. Again, what does Golden Batch get right? The length of these episodes. A 1 hour men tell all, far superior, greater than sign. 2 hours. We don't need it. 1 hour was simply perfect. I also think Golden Batch is in an advantageous position because we left the Women Tell All with 2 perfect to excellent choices to become the next lead for the Golden Bachelorette. There is Diane, who made it to top 3 and got her heart broken. And there's also Cheryl, who's drawn comparisons to Faith from season 1. Either would be exceptional. Both had incredible babyface edits during this episode. They're immensely popular amongst the fan base. And should there be a next Golden Bachelorette season, we have 2 fantastic candidates here. Now, prediction time. Prediction time. Okay. For the finale, we're still riding with Hot Girl Peg all the way. Wow. Again, we have our final 2. We have Peg, the 62-year-old retired firefighter and bomb technician from Las Vegas. And then we have Cindy, the 60-year-old retired biomedical engineer from Austin, Texas. Brad, we're going Peg all the way. Consistency, city. I think Peg gets the win. I don't know that Mel is ready for a proposal. I want to say she gets the proposal, but I think these 2 are going to leave officially an item. I'll let you know next week. Let us know what you think here on YouTube. Let us know in the comments. Find us on social at GIPod19. What are your predictions? Does no one end up with Mel? Do the women say, nah, he's not the one, then they peace out? That is an option. That is an option I would actually love to see, but I'm going with that.
I'm with you, and I haven't watched a single second. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope for you, you're right, because you've been on the Peg train here for a long time. In other words, we really have. As you said a couple of episodes ago, you've been riding Peg. Okay, let's see. Tyler, what did we miss?
It's time to finish the story, Peg, and it's time to finish this episode. Okay, what did we miss? Simply want to give a moment to give out some flowers to our colleagues on 19 Media Group. The great Jessica Winchester dropped episode 3 of her new podcast, Inclusive Pathways. We also have, speaking of greats, the great Mike Steph dropping episodes of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Big week for him, Brad. There's that huge New York City mayoral race. Mike is covering it like only he can. Check out his podcast. And then for our sports fans out there, whether you're rocking with the NBA, whether you're a big NFL fan, check out the team at 19 Media Group for all the content you could want and enjoy. We have some outstanding hosts on the network who are just as passionate as our audience about these subjects, about these sports, and you're sure to find someone who you can connect with. So support the team at 19 Media Group. Jess, Mike, the whole team.
Yeah, and happy belated to Erica Day, friend of the show, former guest of the show, PHNX superstar, doing really, really great things. I saw the GI account, shout out to the social media team, tweet out the birthday props, and I'm glad I caught it. Love her, have for a long time. Tyler, this past week in 2018, we saw the New Day come out as the Brood. And I was thinking about how Edge and Christian are at the tail end of their careers, shocked at how good they still look in the ring. It's actually unbelievable how awesome they still are. I don't think people are talking nearly enough about how good both of them still are as in-ring performers at that age with that much mileage on their bodies and after all the injuries and stuff. At some point, we know we're not going to have them forever. And as tag teams, I'm sure we're going to have like the shout outs, the honorary move sets, we're just going to do an homage to them things. But the New Day aren't that far behind. I think I know Kof is in his mid to late 40s, I think, and which is shocking still. But I know we're getting all of these new stars are coming into the WWE and into AEW, but we also have the older guard that is starting to wind down. And I just wonder what the landscape's going to look like when all of the super mega stars are gone. I don't know that Roman Reigns has hit Rock or John Cena status yet. And I hope he does, but I don't know outside of those two, if there's anybody in the company that's quite there yet. I know Cody's kind of close to that, but it's not the same thing. And I wonder who is going to be coming out of these things to, then take off and do bigger things to then get promotion to the companies. And I was thinking about that this week because not only was it an awesome homage, the entrance was great. They looked awesome. It was hilarious, all of those things, but just thinking about how, we don't have a lot of time left for those. And I think it's really cool as we wind down that we get to see all of these greats as like the Lakers stuff is coming out and like how Westbrook really feels and all of these things, to think like, people are still going, oh yeah, more LeBron. I'm kind of bored with that, knowing full well that Michael Jordan, when he was playing for the Warriors or the Wizards, when he was playing for the Wizards had the greatest road attendance of any team during that terrible Wizards team run, just so they could get a glimpse of greatness. And I don't think people have hit that yet with LeBron, not understanding he's wrapping it up. He's been playing for 150 years. So it's time for him to stop.
Well said. Yeah, time catches up to all of us. And as we continue to document the latest and greatest in pro wrestling and pop culture, the people we enjoy watching, like you said, they're on that time clock just like all of us, and they put their bodies on the lines for our entertainment and usually for some pretty exceptional compensation, but for our entertainment. And I'm grateful that we have a platform to, like you said, give out those flowers to the people close to us who we know and cherish, but then also, you know, these entertainers who are amazing at what they do.
Yeah, well said, man.
Well, happy November, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did.
The fall colors up in the background. Yeah.
Hey,
listen. It's supposed to be orange, light orange, but it's picking it up as like, I don't know what that is.
This is what we do. If you haven't already, again, please be sure to follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and much more. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.